Hey, what's up, everyone? All right, so with my Patreon, I want to let y'all know that I am now giving access to my private map, which includes all my campsites that I go to, the exact locations, hot springs, fishing information, all that good stuff. And it's on a Google map, but it's a private map that I have to give you access to. So if you become a Patreon member, then you get access to that map. And I'm constantly uploading new stuff every week. So each week on Patreon, at the end of the week, either on Saturday or Sunday, I'll post up the information as to all the new sites that I loaded that week. And then I just do that each week. And then also I post up, just for the patrons, I post some information about hot springs and different hikes that I think they're really cool, that are one-off other than the map. I mean, they're on the map, but I'll highlight them with a separate post and then say like, hey, here's where you should go. So if that sounds like something you want to be a part of, just check out the link in the video description below and we can get you all set up. And then you just need a Gmail address, like a Gmail email account, and then I can add you to it since it's a Google Map. So, all right, thanks. It's been raining a bunch all morning, and rained pretty much all night last night, but it didn't get cold enough for it to get for the snow to hit. It was just kind of like this slushy stuff, but it never turned into full-on snow, and there was no accumulation. What's up, sweetie? It's raining, isn't it? Well, it's actually kind of snowing. This is actually, it's like a mixture. It's like a, see if I can get some here in my hand. It's like slushies. I don't know if you can see it, but anyway. Cold enough to where I think this is going to kind of be the rest of the day. We're supposed to have snow, or I'm sorry, rain tonight throughout the evening, and it's supposed to go down to 28 because tonight. So hopefully we'll get some snow. It'd be kind of cool. I was gonna fish tonight, but with this rain coming in, I think I'm gonna have to wait till tomorrow during the day. And like midday during the day, it looks like there's a spike in the barometric pressure, and so I'll be able to go out and fly fish, and the conditions should be pretty good. But I think tonight the plan is just gonna hang out inside with Sierra, and just had some dinner and fed her some dinner as well. So we'll probably just fire up some Netflix and hang out and see if this moisture keeps falling. I mean, you can see, I don't know if you can see it coming down, but there's basically like the front right there. I don't know if you hear the people over there fly fishing, but they had a good time fly fishing. Just talking to them about it. But I mean, I think that this storm right here is just going to park it over us for the rest of the night, because you can see the clouds. I mean, they're all moving, you know, this way. So this is all coming right here over us, and I've just been waiting for this. I've just been watching it just track this way. Now it's finally here above us. So whoops, that's on the camera there. All right, cool. Time to retire to the topper for the duration of the evening. Hey, yo, down to Mob. Sorry, Phil, I still got your shovel here. I'm heading into town probably tomorrow to go ship that to you. So I went to town last week to ship it, and I went to town. I was like, man, I forgot to do something while I was here, and I left and came back to camp. I was like, oh yeah, I forgot to ship the shovel. That's what I went into town for. So I'll remember to do it this time. So we got a nice day here at camp, chilling next to the water, and then way off in the distance over there, that mountain is Mount Massive. So got a really great view of that here from camp. And unfortunately, I haven't had too much luck fishing this morning. I was out for about 30 minutes and just didn't get much, but that's okay. I'm probably planning on moving on from this campsite, maybe, I don't know, in like a day or two, because the wilderness area is just right over there. There's a bunch of really killer lakes to fish, and I wouldn't have any reception up there, but that's okay. I'd go up there for like 3 days, then come back on Thursday, go hook up with a friend, excuse me, for fishing down kind of south of Leadville area, and then Friday, fishing looks insane on Friday, so maybe maybe head back to the Holy Cross Wilderness area. I want to go to the southern part of it because there's just so much good fishing down in there. So, but anyway, here at camp, I want to talk about which systems I think are the most important for, you know, full-time overlanding, because, you know, I've learned a lot from hitting the road, and if I could do it over, I'd definitely do some things differently. And so I want to talk about the different systems that you use while you're out here, and which one I think out of all those systems, which one I think is the most important to dial in first. So let's hop in the truck here, get out of the sun because it's starting to come down pretty good as far as the UV rays here, and we'll chat about this stuff. All right, so I'm coming up on July 5th. I'll be entering my 6th year of doing this full time, of living out on the road in my 4x4 truck. And you know, there's been a lot of learning, a little bit of a learning curve to get to this point, and just some information I wanted to share with everyone, because like, it's easy to get caught up in wanting the latest and greatest stuff for your vehicle, but in order to function out here full time, there's really just some basics you got to cover, and I call them like the power three. So the two that make the most sense, that come as the most common sense, are your sleeping system and then your cooking system, because obviously you have to have those in order to survive. So I'd say invest good, you know, invest in a good mattress for sleeping, and also just get it to where it's comfortable. You don't want to suffer out here, because you want to make sure you get good rest, because you go through a lot of energy throughout the day, you know, when you're doing whatever at camp or out hiking or whatever it may be. The second system is the cooking system. Like I was saying, you know, that's an essential, that is kind of a no-brainer. You know, you can go with like a little small stove if you want, or you can get a big 2-burning stove, or if you have like a camper, I mean, heck, you got like a big oven and stuff like that. You know, it opens up different possibilities for eating. For the longest time, I did just do a single burner, and the drawback to that is if you have multiple items that you're cooking for a meal, then you have to cook them separate, and it just takes a lot longer. So if you have like a 2-burner stove, at least a 2-burner stove, it just helps with cooking stuff and making things better. Now, as far as like water goes, you know, you could go to the store and get water. There's water machines all over the place. Or if you have a high volume water purifier like what I have, you can just go out to the stream here and just purify some water, and you're good to go. And that's kind of nice, because then it frees you up, and you know, that way you don't have to go into town and get more water. You know, so carrying a water purifier definitely helps with that. And then if you don't have a high volume water purifier, but if you're just hanging at camp for like a day or two, you can do a gravity fed water purifier that are much more affordable, and those do the trick. They just take longer. So, you know, so you got those two systems, but there's this third system which I think is absolutely essential to living this way, and it's something that I have just been lagging on. And I finally started investing in it and getting with the program about 6 or 8 months ago. And it's to have your power system completely set up. And you don't have to have it completely dialed in 100%, but at least something to get you to where you can function when you're back here. Because one of the biggest things that I've found is that since I got the battery, so I've got the Max Oak, the Blue Eddy EB150, so it's a 1500 watt hour battery, and then it has 101 amp hours. We're getting a little bit of weather coming in, and a little bit of storms coming in. And you know, I found that to be very robust for my needs, because I'm pushing a Dometic fridge, and that pulls 0.7 amps an hour max, so that's nothing. The router that I have here, this one actually is kind of funny. This one pulls more power than my fridge. So go figure. That pulls about 1 amp an hour. And then just with like the computer and different electronics, you know, you got your phone. I use this. I don't actually have cell phone service, but I use this to power my drone, or to fly my drone. And then a few other things like, you know, headlamps and stuff like that, the GoPro batteries, the DJI batteries, you know, all that stuff adds up after a while. And if you don't have your own battery bank here in your rig, and if you're relying on going into town to charge all that stuff up, number one, you're going to waste way too many trips to town, which is going to cost you money and gas and cost you time, which I think is money. And number two, you might be hard pressed to find a place that's going to let you plug in multiple devices to charge up, because a lot of people kind of frown upon that. And so if I was a business owner, I probably wouldn't want somebody coming in and using all the plugs to plug in their stuff and staying there all day long. And so, you know, I think that the system that gives you the most flexibility back here is the power system, because it allows you to stay out longer. and then you can power all your systems as long as you have sun, and if you have solar panels, which I've got. I've got the foldable panel out there. I use Renogy. So I've got the foldable panel, that's 100 watts. Then I've got the panel on top of my wrist, that's another 100 watts. So I'm pulling in 200 watts throughout the day with it if I've got full sun. And that's more than plenty to keep my battery topped off. Now, before when I just had 100 watts, it wasn't enough to keep my battery topped off. And so every once in a while, I'd turn on my truck and then power on the inverter. And from my inverter, I could pump in like around 160 to 170 watts. But with the solar panels and all that stuff, I don't have to do that anymore, which is nice. So now adding that second one is key. And then what I found too is that now that I have power back here, if I need to upload stuff to the internet, well, I don't have to run to town to power up my computer. I did that my first year on the road. I'd run into town and I'd power up stuff. I have an inverter back here, but you have to run the vehicle to do it. It's a very ineffective way to do it, and it costs. I think it's just not an economical way to do it. So I'd run into town in the morning, and I'd go to coffee shops, and then I'd power up, and then I'd be good for the day. And then if I needed anything at night, I could top off, and I'd be good to go. But now, it's like I can just stay back here. I rolled up to this campsite last Monday, and I went into town once on Wednesday, and that was it. And I had to go get some new groceries, and that because I forgot to get them when I rolled up here. And that's it. And here it is Sunday, and I've not had to leave. There's been zero issues with keeping things powered on at camp. Everything's going fine, and so it's good to go. After that, you've got a bunch of other systems that you could work on. You could say like, oh, my suspension system, if you have the 4x4 truck, or your communication system, that's a big one. What I use for communications is I've got, the phone here, which I can run through my router, so I can make like FaceTime audio calls or text or whatever through iMessage. Or if I want to make a phone call, I've got Skype on here, and then I can make a call through Skype with the internet. But when I'm away from my truck here and I'm not close to the router, I still use this to pair with my GPS, because I've got the InReach. Let's see, I think it's in the cab of the truck. I've got the Garmin InReach GPS, and the nice thing about that is Garmin made an app called EarthMate, and it's really a great app. It's this app right here. I don't know if you can see it on the screen, but it's the best thing about this is I can two-way text people from my GPS. So if I'm out in the backcountry or anywhere in the world, I can get on here, and all the contacts that I have loaded into my iPhone automatically get plugged into the EarthMate link or EarthMate's app, and then I can two-way text people when I'm out away from cell service, which is really great because having the 4x4 capabilities, I like to get way out in the middle of nowhere, and sometimes there's just not enough cell service. Even with the booster that I have, with the communications, I've got the Drive. It's not the Connect. Is it the Reach? I can't remember. It's the latest and greatest one. I'll put the link in the video description below. But that booster is awesome because it's 60% more powerful than the previous booster that I had. I think is it the Connect? Yeah, I think it's the WeBoost Connect. Anyway, it's like 60% more powerful than the previous one that I had. So I can go further in the backcountry to where if I turn on the booster, or if I turn on the cell phone router that I have, the Wi-Fi router, if I turn it on and it's showing red, it means it doesn't have a strong enough signal for me to do data. But then I can turn on the booster, and I can boost sometimes from red all the way up to like 3 bars. So there's still a trace of the boost of a signal around, and the booster just takes it and boosts it, like however many times to get that service going, which is great. So that's good. But with like I was saying when I was away from the truck, though, I'm able to use this to communicate with people. So that's fantastic, and working with that. And so you couple everything together with the 4x4, with living in the 4x4, and you take care of your bedding system, your cooking system, and then you've got your power system. Then that gives you the canvas to really do what you want, because after you have your power system, you can kind of, before you buy it, you can figure out, okay, this is how much power I'm going to be using. And so you can go through all of your devices, you can look at the power ratings on them and see what the max power draw is, and then you can add everything up, and you can say, okay, well, if I'm out in the sun, say I'm parked for 2 days, and I know my lithium-ion battery has 101 amp hours in it, and I'm going to go through roughly 40 to 50 amp hours of battery usage per day that I'm going to draw out of there without putting any charge back in. Well, that's 2 days worth of battery. It's pretty simple to do, 50 into 100. So you can just figure it out that way, and then you look at the batteries, and you want to look at the amp hour ratings. That's what I always recommend. And then you want to have both direct current and AC current, alternating current. And then make sure you have also too, like some USB ports and stuff like that for all of your different devices. Because if you can run stuff off of direct current, it's the most efficient energy, and you can go from there. But that's just kind of my 2 cents as to what I think you should invest in. I think that the sleep system and the cooking system, that comes easy, but the energy system is what you really need. And slap a panel on top of your vehicle. It's not hard to do. I mounted mine. Actually, when we get done here, I'll at the end of the video, I'll show like how I mounted mine. It's real simple to do. And then you know, you're pulling your power from the sun. So as long as you plan out your weather, like if you say, okay, 3 days from now we've got 2 days of weather coming in and we won't have any sun. Well, let's get your batteries up to par before then. Then you know that with your 101 amp hour battery or whatever it is, whatever your energy uses are, you can say, hey, I'm good for a couple of days. I don't need to worry about getting any charge coming in. So you know, just when I first hit the road, I was operating off, like I said, just the inverter and then going to coffee shops to charge everything up. And it just is cumbersome. You end up spending too much money and too much time on like gas and just running into town and running back. And it's nice out here. You get into a rhythm, you know, you kind of get into a flow to where when you go back into town, it's disrupted. And so being out here and just staying out here, it's just kind of a little bit more of like an easy up and down of the ocean motion, as opposed to like going into town. It's crazy hectic. You get all your stuff done. You come back here, it's chill. You just relax a little bit. Wake up the next day, got to run into town again. And you know what to expect. You know it's going to be hectic and all that stuff, and it can just kind of kill the mood. So, anyway, that's what I think is the best. And if you have any questions, hit me up in the comment section below. All right, thanks.